Welcome to the Brunswick High Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd. Brought to you by Coastal Appliances, Port City Paint and Body, the Emerald Princess, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, Misty's Element Massage, Pristine Water, Files Insurance Agency, Jenkins Nissan, and by Marshside Grill. Now, here is your host, the voice of the Brunswick High Pirates, the Professor, Teddy Bishop.
Welcome to the Brunswick High Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Teddy Bishop, and we are on location at Marshside Grill, where we will be each and every week on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. for the entire season. This segment of the Victor Floyd Show is sponsored by Port City Paint and Body, the Emerald Princess, Coastal Appliances, Apple Care Immediate Care, Files Insurance Agency, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Pristine Water and Pools, Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, and Marshside Grill. And now, joining us, the head coach of the Brunswick High Pirates, Victor Floyd.
Hello.
Coach, the Pirates played tough against Camden, took the lead in the third quarter, 21-14, but Camden dominated the fourth quarter and came away with a 49-21 win. Why do you think Camden was so successful late in the game?
Well, that's a good question. We turned the ball over in the fourth quarter, and that was big. Momentum swung when they tied it up, 21-all. I think it was 21-all with about 10 and a half minutes left, and the bottom kind of fell out on us, you know. A little bit of youth and a lot of turnovers.
Coach, I was a little disappointed that Camden's Coach Coffey tacked on that touchdown late in the game. Were you surprised by that, or any comments on that?
No, I mean, it's our job to stop them. That really didn't matter. Being in South Georgia, you have to do stuff like that in order to get the attention of the people in Atlanta so you can get votes to stay in the top 5 or whatever, because they don't get an opportunity to see our games. All they're going to do is read the score. So I understand. We just need to do a little better job stopping them, that's all.
Coach, I thought our defense played extremely well most of the game, especially the first 3 quarters. What are your thoughts on the overall effort of the defense?
I thought it was a great effort by our defense. The offense hurt the defense some in the first half. We had 2 3-and-outs, and we had a drive where we got 1 first down. So we had a possession where we got 1 first down, and all those snaps they had to play early kind of backfired on us in the fourth quarter a little bit. If we did a better job controlling the ball and holding the ball longer in the first half, the amount of reps they played wouldn't have racked up on them and took a toll late in the game. We played much better offensively in the second half than we did the first. If we could have had the same effort in the first half and allowed our defense to rest some, then they wouldn't have been a little tired in the fourth quarter. But a great effort.
And I was a little bit surprised to see that Camden's offense had over 400 yards rushing. Again, I thought the defense played very well, and I was a little surprised to see that Camden had over 400 yards rushing.
Well, again, you know, they run the ball basically every snap, so, you know, those yards pile up over a 48-minute game.
When the Pirates scored and went for 2 to tie the game, kind of seemed like old times going for 2.
Oh, yeah, it did. We needed that. We needed that at the time to make sure we tied it up, and I thought it was a big momentum swing for us right there.
And you had mentioned in one of our previous coaches' show that we were talking about the kicking game, and you mentioned that there would be times when the circumstances would warrant going for 2, and as you said, that was one of those times where you needed 2 points to tie it up, got the pass completion to tie it. And like you said, the momentum seemed to swing to the Pirates there. And even after Brunswick scored to take the lead, though, I guess the sign of a really good ball club, Camden didn't really seem to panic. They didn't change their game plan, and on their next possession, they drove down and scored to tie it up. Your thoughts on that? Is that a sign of a really good team, or not panicking, or just circumstances of the game?
Right. I mean, that's the sign of a good team. And, you know, they have a lot of seniors that played last year and the year before. So they have experience and, you know, a sign of a good team on their side. And that's what good teams do.
This is the Brunswick High Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network. And we are talking to head coach Victor Floyd. Coach, it's easy to say what if, but if the Pirates could have kept Camden from scoring after Brunswick High had taken the lead, or maybe even held them to a field goal, do you think the outcome might have been different?
Well, there's a good chance. You know, you just never know. That's a question to never really be answered. We can just assume and speculate, but there's a good chance the outcome could have been different, because that would have been a big momentum swing. Big momentum swing,
and momentum can mean a lot in any type of sporting events, particularly in high school football. But as we said, Camden didn't panic, drove down and scored and tied it up. And another key, I thought, was the fumble on the attempted punt that Camden recovered inside the 10 and then scored. You just can't give good teams opportunities like that.
Right, exactly. You know, you look at that situation, we fumbled on the 7, gave them short field to work with. If we had done what we were supposed to, it should have been 7-7 at the half as opposed to 14-6. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20, and that's a mistake we can't take back. But that was definitely big.
I want to ask you a question on officiating, and I understand the position that coaches and players and everything are in, but what was the deal on the illegal participation penalty? And it seemed like the referee didn't even want to discuss it with you, and finally you did have a conversation with him, and just was curious as to maybe what that conversation was about.
Well, the young man's helmet came off, and he threw his hands up and backed up away from the play, and they said that he participated in the play. The referee on our side had the best angle at the call because it was on the hash to our sideline. But according to the white hat, the referee on the opposite side, the side judge on the other side, made the call from his side, which, you know, I just don't understand that when you got a referee that's probably 10 yards away looking right at it. And they take the guy's word from the other side. So, you know, I don't know about the call. From what I saw, the kid did about all he could do. He raised his hand. He wasn't in on the tackle. He backed away from the play. So I had questions about it.
Yeah, those long-distance calls can certainly get to you. And our punting game seemed to be a little off Friday night. Obviously, this is something that you'll be working on in the coming week. I think Seth maybe kicked one off the side of his foot that was kind of short at a key time, and just something that we still need to work on.
Well, Seth punted twice, but another young man punted the first 2, and that was the one that dropped the ball on the 7. So, you know, Seth will probably be handling the punting duties, and Jernigan may even be punting before it's over.
More to come on the Victor Floyd Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
Coastal Appliances is your one-stop shop for Whirlpool washers and dryers, Whirlpool refrigerators, and so much more. Coastal Appliances offers free delivery and service after installation and have also been in business for over 30 years. 4727 Altama, next to Sonic, and on the web at appliancesbrunswickga.com, or give them a call at 912-267-0132. Coastal Appliances, Glenn County's only specialty appliance store. When you are in need of a reputable body shop, Port City Paint and Body in Brunswick is your answer. Located at 2509 Norwood Street, just down from Twin Oaks, Port City Paint and Body understands your needs and cares about your car and you. Port City Paint and Body works with any insurance company. Give them a call for a free estimate at 912-265-9524 or on the web at portcitybodyshop.com. Port City Paint and Body, home of the lifetime guarantee, and go Pirates!
Hop aboard for Texas Hold'em tournaments, roulette, poker, lots of slot action, food, music, and more. Labor Day weekend, Sunday, August 31st, 7 p.m. Cruises depart from Brunswick, Georgia. Call 800-842-0115 or visit EmeraldPrincessCasino.com. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
I'm Jenkins Nissan.
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 I am Jenkins Nissan.
I'm Donnie Jenkins. We're all Jenkins Nissan, and together we want to show you just how easy buying and servicing your car should be. So please, stop by and experience the Jenkins Nissan difference. Look for the red and white Nissan tent at the corner of Chapel Crossing Road and the Spur, or visit us online at jenkinsnissanofbrunswick.com.
Get affordable health care when you need it. At AppleCare Immediate Care, our team of compassionate healthcare providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in healthcare. Located at 1111 Glencoe Parkway, AppleCare is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. AppleCare welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Brunswick High Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Teddy Bishop, and we're on location from Marshside Grill. This segment of the Victor Floyd Show is brought to you by Coastal Appliances, Port City Paint and Body, the Emerald Princess, Jenkins Nissan, and AppleCare Immediate Care. Coach, let's just follow up a little bit on the punting situation. You mentioned that Randon Jernigan perhaps could be doing some punting later in the season, and that he had injured his toe back in the summer.
Right, latter part of the summer, he broke one of his toes on his right foot. So we stopped letting him punt, and he's probably going to work at it a little bit. Newbauer's going to do a solid job for us. His first year doing it. He's going to get better and better. But Randon may share some of the load before it's over.
And you made, I thought, a pretty good point with if you decided to let Randon do some of the punting, it would probably take some of the pressure off on them trying to block the punt, because they certainly have to respect his arm and his running ability even from a punting situation.
Right, that may be the case. We'll see. You get some teams that probably try to come anyway, but a lot of people probably hold up.
Speaking of Randon Jernigan, I thought he did another fine job on Friday night. What do you think he did well, and what do you think he still needs to maybe work on?
He was real solid Friday. Randon he's going to give you constantly an unbelievable effort, along with a lot of heady plays. But I thought he made some good decisions on Friday on some of our read plays and threw some really good passes. It's kind of unfortunate because he probably had 3 drops at least that were right in receivers' hands, and they put them on the ground. They dropped it for whatever reason.
Yes.
But he played real solid for us. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Ball security is always going to continue to be something you work on, especially with a young quarterback. You always stress ball security, and he'll get better and better at that as we go. But, playing one of the top teams in the state, I thought he played real solid.
Coach, I want to mention a comment that Coach Coffey from Camden made prior to the game that I had seen in the paper. And he was talking about Randon Jernigan and about preparing for that quarterback. And he made the comment that he had coached against Corey Dixon for 4 years, waiting for Corey to graduate. So perhaps it'd be a little easier. And then he said Coach Floyd brings in this 14-year-old freshman that ultimately might even be better than Corey. Yeah. Your thoughts on that?
Well, he definitely could. He has a ton of upside, and he's doing a lot of things real well, real fast. So if he continues at the pace, he's got a chance to be really good before his career is over.
And certainly if he meets or surpasses Corey, he will be an excellent quarterback, and things look good for that position for the Brunswick Pirates.
I surely hope that happens. I hope that comes to pass. I really do.
Yes, sir. Random took some heavy hits Friday night, but he hung in there. He's a tough kid.
He is. He took 2 or 3 big-time licks, and he bounced off the ground there and was able to continue. So, it tells you a lot about the character of the young man.
You're listening to the Victor Floyd Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network, and of course we are talking to the head Pirate himself, Victor Floyd. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the offensive line Friday night. Your take on their overall performance. I know you touched on this about the first half as opposed to the second half.
Right. Well, I don't know if it was as much the offensive line as it was some of the skill guys in the first half, because there were times where they made all their blocks and we dropped the ball.
Right.
There were times that we just, made the wrong read or something, and then you got your first play of the game where one of them doesn't get his gap and it's a sack. So they played pretty solid. To be able to run the ball in the second half like we did, I thought they played real solid. I think we ended up around 350 yards of offense, which is a pretty tall task for a team that doesn't give up a lot of yards.
Right.
So I thought the O-line played solid. Definitely we can play a lot better, and I hope that we will. But I think it's a work in progress with that group, because that was Deontay's first game back. So that starting 5, that was their first game together. And offensive line's about continuity. The more they play together, the more they can depend on each other, trust each other. Things come a little natural. That group functions as a group more than any other group on the football team. So I think we're continually getting better on the offensive line.
Any other kudos that you want to hand out from Friday night's game, specifically players or groups of players?
I thought that Darius Lampkin played extremely well on the defensive side of the ball, played free safety for us, made a lot of plays, and real pleased with his progress. He's a first-year senior that's a starter, and it's just getting better and better every week with the knowledge base of the game, and I thought he played real well Friday night.
I thought Amarius Wilson had a couple of good runs.
He did. He did.
Pretty good.
Amarius gave us flashes of last year a little bit. He started getting back in a groove. And I thought Sean made a couple of big plays that made a difference. Huge touchdown in the third quarter, about 76 yards. It was really a game changer, I thought. So we're getting some plays out of some guys.
And certainly when Sean had the opening, there wasn't anybody on the field that was going to catch you.
No, he got out of there. Now he was moving.
Coach, let's just talk about injuries from Friday night. I know before we went on the air you were talking about A.J. Jackson, so if you will fill us in on his status.
Well, A.J.'s status is actually unknown. I know he won't play this week. Something with a hamstring is what we know now. I'll find out a little more detail early part of the week. John has a high ankle sprain, so he's definitely not going to play this week either. We hope to get both of those guys back pretty soon.
This Friday night, the Pirates will be at home again with a big region game against Effingham. Last year, the Rebels went 6-5, losing in the first round of playoffs to Lee County. This year, the Rebels come in 3-0 overall and 1-0 in the region. Talk about the importance of this game.
This is a huge game for us. We're sitting 1-2 right now, 0-1 in the region. And region play just started. We need to get a region win as soon as possible. So this is a huge game for us.
Coach, the Effingham Rebels, I was looking at their stats for the year so far. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Effingham County and the upcoming game. We'll be right back to Brunswick High Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Bruce Kennedy Tire is your hometown destination for tires. Michelin, Goodyear, and all the brands you trust. But don't let the name fool you. Bruce Kennedy Tire, located at 2928 Norwich Street, does more than just tires. Brakes, alignments, repair work, and more than I can mention. Bruce Kennedy is locally owned and operated, so you get the best service in Glenn County. So give Bruce a call at 912-264-6578. Bruce Kennedy Tire, a name you can trust. Files Insurance Agency, located at 5623 Altama Avenue, a quarter-mile north of the Target Shopping Center, offers a wide range of products to protect you and your family from the unknown. Auto insurance, life, health, flood, commercial, bonds, including shrimp bonds, and so much more. Give Files Insurance Agency a call at 912-264-0100 or visit them online at filesinsurance.com. Pristine Water is your destination for pools, spas, and pool supplies. From installation to maintenance, Pristine Water is your best choice in all of Southeast Georgia for your next pool or spa. Give Pristine Water a call at 912-264-9233 for a free estimate, or stop on in at 166 Key Circle Drive, or check Pristine Water out online at pristinewaterandpools.com. And go Pirates!
Relax. Misty's Element Massage specializes in helping you do just that. Located at 138 Village Market on St. Simon's Island, Misty's Element Massage offers deep tissue massages, therapeutic massages, scrubs, creams, body wraps, and much more. The perfect gift for that special someone, not to mention sports massages for that aching muscle. Schedule your appointment today at 912-224-0198 or on the web at mistyselement.com.
Marshside Grill is your home for the best burgers, spuds, and seafood around. Come enjoy the view out by the water while taking in an ice-cold beverage. Marshside Grill is also your home for the Brunswick High Pirates Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd, and a proud sponsor of Brunswick High and local high school athletics. So stop in any day or night of the week for the best view and atmosphere in the Golden Isles. And also, check us out on Facebook. Go Pirates!
Welcome back to the Brunswick High Pirate Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Teddy Bishop, on location at Marshside Grill. This segment of the Victor Floyd Show is brought to you by Bruce Kennedy Tire, Files Insurance Agency, Pristine Water and Pools, and by Misty's Element Massage. Coach, before we went on break, we were talking about Effingham County, the Rebels coming in here Friday night and looking over their first three games. They've outscored their opponents 70-22, so in three games they've given up only 22 points. So apparently a pretty good defense for Effingham, and they put some points on the board.
Yes, they have. Real solid defensively. A lot of starters back from last year's team, a lot of experience. Defensive line really solid up front. Linebackers active, good athletes in the secondary. That'll be a real challenge for us.
And we had mentioned, I think in one of the previous shows, that Effingham has gone to the playoffs the last two seasons, or maybe three, at least the last 2 years, and apparently a pretty good team again this year. Is there any certain game plan for this game, or pretty much your same formations?
Yeah, pretty much the same stuff. We just got to get better at what we do, and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. They have a good team. Coach Holder does a good job at Effingham, and he's picked up where Coach Tomlin left off, and they have a real good team.
Starting this week with the Effingham game, the Pirates will play 7 straight region games. Of course, there will be a bye week in those 7 games, 2 weeks, I think, to prepare for Coffee County. Right. As far as the region and the playoffs, is it make or break time?
Well, every week is huge from here on in. I just don't think you can get in the playoffs in our region with 3 losses. I really think you're going to be in a situation where you don't need more than 2 losses to get in. And we already have 1, so, we have to really pin our ears back and go for it from here on in.
And, Coach, you mentioned an upcoming game. And before we get into that, just wanted to get your thoughts or your comments about Ware's big win over Coffee Friday night.
Big win. I mean, that's a game that started region play, a rivalry game, and Coffee beat Ware last year. And Coffee's returning a lot of guys on offense, and Ware's real solid on defense. And it sounds like it was a really good game, but 24-21. And, you know, it kind of sets the stage. So everybody things will start shaking itself out over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Any surprises from last Friday night's games?
No, everything went about like you would expect.
Coach, how about other games this coming up Friday night while the Pirates are playing Effingham? Tell us about some other key games. Of course, all the region games are key, but you mentioned one or two specifically.
Yeah, I think the Coffee-Glen game is really big. That'll kind of tell us a lot about Coffee and where they are right now. And Glen beat us, so we need to keep track of what they're doing because, you know, we don't need for it to come down to a tie because they would have the head-to-head. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on around the region this week.
This is the Brunswick High Coaches Show with head coach Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network, and we are talking to Coach Victor Floyd. Coach, again, talking about the Ware Coffee game this past Friday night, a lot of people said those were probably the top two teams in the region, and you mentioned didn't think you could have more than 2 region losses to get into the playoffs with Glen Academy and Coffee coming up. Would you care to go out on a limb and predict the 4 playoff teams?
No.
That's a loaded question.
I won't touch that. I'll leave all that predicting to the fans and the people around. I think you got to play the game to figure the whole thing out. I don't think you can predict.
We leave all that to the sports writers.
Yeah, I'll let them have that.
Okay. Coach, just wanted to ask you, I know you keep up with your former players, and you've certainly been instrumental in getting a lot of your players college scholarships to play at the next level. Any updates or comments on this past weekend's games involving your former players?
Well, just a few that I've heard about. I watched Justin last night. He had a big play against Oklahoma. He deflected a pass that ended up getting intercepted. And he looked like he's playing real solid. He's playing corner and playing nickel for him. Trey Johnson called me last night. He had his second 100-yard game in a row at receiver at Newport News up in Virginia. I didn't see what Avery Sweeting did at Georgia State. I know they played in Colorado Springs against Air Force yesterday, and he starts receiver at Georgia State. Demetrius is in the rotation in Middle Tennessee. I didn't see his statistics. Most of the guys are doing pretty well. From what I understand, a lot of them are starting. The ones that aren't starting, like Shakir Robinson, are playing special teams, and, you know, they're playing. So we're excited about that, and we look forward to continue to follow.
And you mentioned the Tennessee game, and I watched a good portion of that game, and I did see the play that you were talking about that Justin Coleman deflected that ended up as an interception. And certainly Justin Coleman, senior at Tennessee, has done well the last couple of years, and certainly looking for him to continue to progress and be playing in the NFL next year.
I hope so. He's definitely a deserving young man, hard worker. We wish him the best the rest of the season.
Coach, after the Effingham game this Friday night, of course it's at Glenn County Stadium, then you got to go on the road to take on Statesboro. Statesboro appears to be a little down this year from maybe what they've been in the past, but it's never easy to win there.
You know, they may be a little down compared to what people are used to, but they're still going to be good. Statesboro is one of those teams that they do what they do in a sense. They're going to be wishbone, and they're going to run the football right at you. They're going to be solid on defense, and they're going to have real solid personnel, real good players. So that part of it won't change. He may be breaking in a new quarterback, and the offense hadn't started clicking just yet, but I expect Statesboro to be a handful regardless.
Coach, we have about 30 seconds left, but just wanted to get your comments. Statesboro has had success in the past running between the tackles, have really hurt Brunswick High some in that area. The defensive line looks a little bit better perhaps this year between the tackles.
Right. We're real solid inside. We have a couple of seniors who've been around for a couple of years and we had to play at a high level the past couple of years in Region 1. So we'll be a little better, a little more suited for that this time around.
We want to thank you for joining us for the Brunswick High Coaches Show with Victor Floyd on the Bishop Media Sports Network. We invite you to come out to Marshside Grill and join us every Sunday night at 7 for the Victor Floyd Show. And remember, the Brunswick High Pirates will be at home this Friday night against the Effingham County Rebels. We thank you for joining us. This is Teddy Bishop signing off. Good night, Coach.
Thank you.